Hey everyone, welcome to today's live stream. If you are joining us, thank you so much. I'm Tatiana and this is Stefan, my partner. And so we are actually streaming on both of our channels right now. So we were originally going to do it separate, but we thought why not join forces? We can help reach more people, answer more questions, and we thought maybe you'd benefit from both of us being here because we have very different perspectives. And when it comes to the Q&A session of this live stream, we're going to have different answers to offer you.
Yeah.
And so we're really excited to be here today.
Yeah, you get double, two for the price of one.
Yes.
But it is the first time we've ever streamed on both channels at the same time from one camera, so hopefully everything goes smooth. Hopefully you guys can hear us and see us okay and there's no lag or anything like that. So
give us a thumbs up if
yes,
you can hear and see us okay, just so we know, so we can continue moving on. I've been seeing your guys' comments on the live chat. Thank you so much. If you are just joining in, please tell us your name, where you're coming from. It's so cool how we can connect from all over the world. Steph and I are in Panama right now in Central America. But also, if you wouldn't mind, I'd love to know, maybe share with us something a bit more personal. Maybe why are you starting this journey of building an online business? What does it mean to you? What do you wish to achieve through this? I'd love to read your answers.
Yeah, so I got two chats going on right now. There's lots of messages that are coming in. So we got people here from Florida. We've got Lancaster, Miami, Rahit from Philadelphia, Stefan from Dubai.
Cool.
We got someone, Georgette from New Orleans.
We've got Christina from Hungary. We've got, wow, it's moving so fast I can barely see the names. Roshan from Scotland. We've got Brandy from New Mexico. Aline from Australia, amazing. Jelena from Montenegro, awesome. We've got
Gabriella from Florida.
Wow.
We got Parissa from Toronto.
So
everywhere, all over the world. Well, thank you guys so much for taking the time to be here. We don't take for granted that you've dedicated your time to be here with us today. And our goal anytime that we take up or consume any of your time is we want to over deliver. We want to make this stream for you guys, answer your questions, support you in building your business. We're not sure where you guys are or how you guys found us or what brought you here. We're, I think, all here together because you want to find out ways to build a business online, specifically with Amazon. And we understand that there's a lot of people from all over the world. Some of you might have been following us for a long time. Some of you might be brand new, just found us on YouTube, found our YouTube channels. Wherever you are, that's okay, that's perfect. We really want to tailor this stream for everybody and cater to everyone as much as we can. And so what we kind of thought is we'll first kind of share with you a little bit of context of how selling on Amazon works. If you're brand new to it, I know some of you might already watched some of our videos, but we do understand there's a lot of people that might be brand new beginners, and we want to provide the foundation and the overview of how this business model works and the opportunity that's available. Then we'll dive into your questions. And so if you have questions for us, we're going to please ask that you maybe wait a little bit because we can't talk sometimes and look at all the chat at the same time. But right now, we're really excited to share this with you guys because as you guys know from our YouTube channels and what we've shared, building an online business has changed our lives. When we look at everything that we've done in our lives, and we've done a lot, we love self-development. We're always trying to improve every aspect of our lives. I'm all about life mastery, and you are as well. And so we're always trying to improve our relationship and our emotional well-being, our health, our connection with God, everything. But out of everything, building a business has been one of the most life-changing things that's happened to us in our lives. It's given us this ability to communicate with you guys in this way, which we're really grateful for. But the opportunities that are available that are in front of us that our parents and grandparents didn't have before is life-changing. And Amazon we're so appreciative of because they've provided a platform and an opportunity for all of us, almost from no matter where you are in the world. There are some countries that there are barriers from, but almost anybody can sell on Amazon and tap into their millions of customers and leverage their platform to sell a product. And what we're seeing right now, the opportunity has just always been going like this. The trend of selling online has been growing, especially as people move from offline retail to online retail. More people are online today than ever before. More people buy online than ever before. But what's been happening right now, I believe that we're in a very pivotal point in history because we're seeing trillions of dollars that's being spent in offline retail. that's being moved to online retail at a faster pace than I could ever even imagined. And that's primarily because what's been happening with COVID-19. You know, people are being forced to buy online. People are being forced to spend more time on the internet. My business, your business, our YouTube channels, everything has been exploding based on what's been happening. And it kind of feels weird because, you know, we're so sympathetic to a lot of challenges and real problems that people are facing with their jobs and, you know, their finances and a lot of things that are happening. But we've been experiencing the very opposite, where because we've built an online business, we've been benefiting massively from what's happening right now. And I think right now the opportunity on Amazon is greater than it's ever been. Amazon's continue to grow. We both investors invest in Amazon stock and other technology companies like Shopify as well. And their stock has exploded as a result. And I believe that Amazon and e-commerce in general is really going to continue to see a massive surge after all this is said and done, because consumer spending and behavior has been shifting. More people are buying online, and if you're already selling online, selling on Amazon, you know, I'm sure you might be benefiting from a lot that's happening right now. And if not, if you're brand new and you're looking at this as an opportunity, I think that now is one of the best times, because 5, 10, 20 years from now, people are going to look back at a time like this. This is always going to be a moment in history. It's going to be a very significant moment, but you know, I think that right now what we're learning and discussing are the skills of the future, and we're going to be in the future soon enough, 5, 10 years from now, and we'll look back at a time like this, and how much you benefit 5 or 10 years from now is going to be based on what you're doing right now today. Because right now today in your life, you're creating your future. You're creating your future, and you can make decisions that set up your future self for massive success. And it's not going to happen overnight. It never does. Success is not easy. But if you start learning and taking action, 5 or 10 years from now, you can have a very different life than most people on the planet, because you're taking advantage of opportunities that arise. So we're excited about this opportunity. I mean, we've been sharing it for years, but right now what we're seeing is a lot of questions that come our way, and you know, people have watched our videos and wanted us to do more streams like this. So here we are to share with you more.
Yeah, and for those of you guys who are my subscribers, you know that I've been kind of sharing with you the journey with my business amid the COVID-19, and I've been transparent about my sales, my revenue with my businesses. And in some ways, I almost kind of wanted to hold back because I feel bad in some ways that, you know, my sales are increasing during such turbulent times and such high stress times where things are, you know, it's chaos around the world. But I needed to share this with you and be transparent with you, because there are so many people now who are massively benefiting who are in the e-commerce space, and that could be you. So people who are in retail are, you know, a lot of them are having to close down their businesses and go bankrupt, right? Millions and millions of Americans have filed for unemployment. And so we are, as Stefan said, in a very pivotal time. And so I think it's very important that I do share this opportunity with you, because I'm not saying that it's the right fit for you. We're not saying that it's the right fit for you. We don't know you personally. It's up to you to make that decision. But we just want to present you with the opportunity of the future. It's the opportunity right now, but this is the direction that the future is heading. And we can say that with confidence based on statistics. So for example, in 2017, all of retail sales around the world, out of all the retail sales, 10.1% of those sales were dedicated to e-commerce. 3 years later, today, now it's 16.4%. That's around 54.8% of an increase in e-commerce sales in only 3 years. And so by 2023, they're expecting around 110% increase in e-commerce sales. So just from these stats alone, that just tells you where things are heading. And so if you make that decision today, right now, this year, that says, hey, you know what, I understand that, you know, maybe my full-time job is not as secure as I once thought it was, you know, basically because a lot of us got unemployed, and I need to create a new stream of income for myself. And when I'm looking at my options and I'm looking at the direction where the world is heading, it seems like online business is one of the most beneficial opportunities, and more specifically e-commerce, because people love to shop. We live in a consumer world. It's how we are. We love to buy things, but the shopping is shifting from retail to online, and so that's what we want to share with you today. That's why I'm so passionate about talking about e-commerce on my channel. It's something I love to do. I love to share this with you because it's changed my life, and it's changed our lives. It's been such an incredible blessing for us, and so we're excited to be here.
One thing that we were discussing beforehand, we kind of imagine and are speaking and communicating to you guys as if we're speaking to our younger selves 5 years ago, 10 years ago. So we're almost imagining that the other person watching this right now in front of the computer is Tatiana when she was 20 years old, or Stefan when I was 25 years old, and receiving this information, and we want to communicate everything to you guys in the most honest way. We understand that we have such a diverse audience here from people from all over the world, and we both recognize this might not be for you. I don't know. I think everybody has different circumstances. We both struggled financially growing up. We didn't come from a wealthy background or anything like that. We had to figure things out on our own. We had to learn from others, find mentors. I found opportunities just as you guys are. I found other mentors online. I invested in their courses. I trusted in them and their process to get to where I'm at today. And same thing with Tatiana. And, there are some people here, listen, I get it. You might be in a very difficult situation. I'm not sure. Maybe you don't have any money whatsoever. Maybe there's many factors that go involved in building a business. Mm-hmm. And if this is the first time you've ever built a business and you're brand new, understand that it's not going to be easy, because success never is. And I want to spend some time just kind of talking about this, because I think it's important, the mindset and the expectation going in. There's no get rich quick. Okay, if you're here for that, you got to look somewhere else, because that's not who we are. We don't believe in that. My success, Tatiana's success, I don't know anybody that's ever succeeded and it was fast or is easy. That doesn't exist. The reality is success is hard. It's difficult. It's a journey. Mm-hmm. If it was easy, everybody would be successful. And maybe based on your circumstances, it might be harder than it was for us, or maybe it might be easier than it was for us. I don't know. But I do believe that whatever you set your mind to and you're committed enough to, that you can find the way. You can find the way, or you can make the way. You can figure it out. You can learn. And I think that belief system has always served me, because whenever I've seen someone else that's successful, I know that I too can be successful, because if they can do it, then I can as well. And when we share with you guys, we're sharing with you to hopefully inspire you, to hopefully show you a different possibility, to show you a different path that you can take. And again, we're not here to say it's the right path for you. I think you got to learn and know yourself and make that decision yourself. But for some of you that are here, that are committed, that are like our younger selves receiving this information, we know that this can definitely transform your life. And it's not going to happen overnight. It's going to take time. But we'll just share with you guys in an honest, direct way what we've learned. And we're sharing with you not just from our experience and what we've gone through our path, but we also have the unique experience of now working with and helping thousands of people from all over the world. And so we have when we give advice or share something, we're sharing it from a different perspective than just from our experience. We're sharing it from what we think has worked for us, but also other people and other reference points that we can help you guys with too. So
and just one last thing before we dive into the overall process of Amazon FBA. Steph and I, we always say, make sure that you are a student and not a follower. And we say this because we want to make sure that anything that we share to you today, that you just take it lightly, and you don't just take it to heart. Take what we share and study it, and go and do your own research, and go and create your own conclusions. Don't just follow what we say blindly, because I think that whenever you follow anyone blindly, that can possibly lead you down a dark path. And our goal is not to do that. Our goal is to try, and we have the purest intent to try and help you today, but just always remember that it's your responsibility to do your due diligence and to be a student and to do your research. Okay?
Absolutely, yeah. And before we dive into, we want to share just the process. I know we talk a lot.
Yeah,
we're trying to cater to everybody and try to, we always try to please everybody and make sure we're addressing everybody the best we can. But before we kind of share the process and then dive into your questions, by the way, I want to mention some people that were waiting. You might not see the chat. If you don't see the live chat, you can hit refresh on your browser. Just want to give you a heads up. But before we go into the process and whatnot, we both posted on our YouTube channels just the other day that our mentors, the people that we learn from, the people that we learn the process to sell on Amazon from, they're doing an upcoming training on June 11th and 12th. We have the links in the description of our of this video, so if you go down there or even in the chat, someone on my team can post it for you guys. But if you click there, you can register for their upcoming training. Many people ask, how did we get started? How did we learn this? Or maybe you're thinking that yourself. We, just full disclosure, we learned this by learning from other people. We did not try to figure this out on our own. We came across a course called The Amazing Selling Machine. This is a course that taught us step by step the entire process of selling on Amazon and building our business. They've been our mentors, and we want to give credit to them and share that with you guys. I look back and I don't think I could have figured this out on my own. It is challenging. Even with the course, it's very challenging. It's hard. It's not like, the way I kind of always use it as an example, building a business is like you being thrown in a jungle and you're trying to find the treasure. And if you've never been in this jungle before, you're going to have to try to figure it out. You're trying to piece together certain information. Should I go down this path? Should I do this? Should I do that? And oftentimes you get lost, you get eaten by a tiger, and it's deadly and dangerous. You might not survive, and a lot of people give up. That's the reality when it comes to finding a treasure and becoming successful. And what we've always tried to do, not just with business, but every part of our lives, is we try to figure out who has the map, okay? Who has the map that's already been to the treasure? And can we get that map? Can we learn? Can we get the best map that's available? Even better, can we get a GPS that can guide us and show us the path to take? Go down this path. Oh, watch out for that. Avoid that. That's a mistake that a lot of people make. Don't do that. And it can guide you. And the GPS, even if you have a GPS, you can still get lost. I mean, I remember one time in Australia, we rented a car and we had the GPS, and even the GPS sometimes, leads you down the wrong path, and you're frustrated.
6 times.
But, a GPS is going to, a map and a GPS is going to make it a lot easier for you to get to where you want to go, rather than just trying to figure it out through trial and error and trying to watch from this person's YouTube video and this person's video and trying to piece it all together. So that's how we've learned. Okay, that's what, we're here to share with you guys the path that we took that helped us get to where we are today. And I assume that you're here following us and listening to us because you're looking for a similar path. And we're going to share with you the path that we took. Maybe there's a better path for you, an easier path, a faster path, a more inexpensive path that we don't know about. If there is one, I'd want to know what that is, but I haven't found anything that's better than, and we've refined our path over, many years in teaching this. So the training that they have coming up June 11th and 12th can, help you learn more about selling on Amazon. They've got the best course step by step. We're not course creators or anything like that when it comes to teaching and selling on Amazon. We could create a course, but we always just thought, why would we even bother when this is the course that we took? They're updating it every year. In fact, they are launching upcoming this month, Amazing Selling Machine 12, ASM 12, which we're really excited about. And as well as we're always trying to be students and to humble ourselves and learning, because the more you know, the more you realize that you don't know. And we're always just trying to learn, and we'll be there, and we want to share that with you guys and invite you guys for that too. So the link is there for you guys, and make sure you register for it. They actually just released a bonus training video today. If you do register for it, they're sending it out today, and so we're looking forward to that. And we'll do some more streams like this too, maybe another one next week and whatnot, to share with you guys more about selling on Amazon, building your business, and ASM and all that sort of stuff.
Yes. Okay, awesome. Great. Glad we covered that. So what we're going to do now is we're going to kind of give you guys the overview of the process of what it means to sell on Amazon. So you hear us talking about being an Amazon seller, which really you become an entrepreneur. It's not an Amazon business. It's a business. It's a real business. It just happens to be on Amazon. And so we're going to talk about that, and we're not going to go too in depth because that will take hours. And that's really, my entire YouTube channel is dedicated to doing tutorials and showing you guys all about that. Stefan's got a bunch of videos too. So we're going to do the overview process, and then we're going to get into the Q&A. So maybe we'll start with, first of all, what does it mean to sell a product on Amazon? Well, there are different ways that you can sell products on Amazon. You may have heard of some of them, such as drop shipping, such as white labeling, private labeling. What's the other one I was looking for? retail arbitrage, which I have done many of those things when I was first getting started. But what we like to talk about and what we teach is called private labeling or white labeling. And this method is the most scalable way to sell products on Amazon because it involves creating your own brand, your own product. And that is different than all the other methods, because with the other methods, sure, it's faster, it's easier, but the earning potential is much smaller than your earning potential with building your own brand and selling your own product on Amazon. They just don't even compare. And so if we're talking about potential and like, where is your time worth being spent? Probably in private labeling and creating your own brand and selling that on Amazon. Now, when I talk about creating your own brand, it can sound very intimidating, but really it's not that complex, because what we do is we do the white labeling model, which simply means that you're not trying to invent anything new. You're not going to be the pioneer of anything. You're just finding products that are already selling on Amazon and that customers are already buying, and you do a little bit of research to see which products are in demand and which products are viable product opportunities based on a set of criteria. For example, maybe you don't want products that are going to be very fragile, because if a product's very fragile and you're importing it perhaps from overseas, that could lead to more units being broken, which could cut into your profit margins. And maybe you don't want products that are too heavy, because that means increased shipping expenses, cutting into your profit margins. And maybe you don't want a product that is, going to be something that could be a liability risk, like a product that's ingestible, like a supplement, or something that's topical that can be on your skin, like a skincare product. And so perhaps that's not your ideal first product. And so we look for simple products that are already selling on Amazon. And then what we do, once we determine, hey, this is the product I want to sell, then we go and we look for manufacturers. Now, you can find manufacturers all over the world. You can find manufacturers in the USA, in Canada, in any country. You name it, it's your choice. A lot of people do source from China, as you know, just because they are giants in the manufacturing space. And the relations that we had they just make the whole process very fluid. And also the margins that you can get when sourcing in China are significantly higher. Up to you. I know it can be something that people are very hesitant to source from China, and that's perfectly fine, perfectly understandable. You choose where you source from. Now, I want to show you an example. So, for example, if I decide that, hey, on Amazon, I found a product that it's this fitness belt, and this is what it looks like. I found it on Amazon, and I found a manufacturer, and you can find manufacturers on websites like Alibaba.com, DHgate. You can even do a simple Google search. So if you say that, hey, the product that you want to sell is a water bottle, you could type in on Google water bottle plus manufacturer, or another word would be supplier, plus your city if you want to source it in your city, or maybe just your country if you want to be more general, USA. And then through Google, you just search through dozens and dozens of different websites to contact them, and you call them over the phone and you talk to them and you ask them what their options are. Oftentimes they'll send you a catalog to see their whole product variety list. And so, for example, if I said, this is my product, this is actually a product I sell, it's the Lux Curves Fitness Belt. And this is simply a private label product. I did not do anything special for this. So I found a manufacturer in China that was already producing this product. I created my own logo, which I had someone on Fiverr.com create. I just told them, I gave them an idea. I said, these are the colors I want it to have cursive font, run with it. And then they sent me the logo. I sent it to the supplier, and the supplier put the logo right here. I don't know if you guys can see that. The supplier put the logo right here. So they just printed the logo on the product. So that's as simple as it gets, right? You're not inventing something new. You find a product that they're already producing, and you just put your logo, which means your brand. And so that's why it doesn't have to be so overwhelming to think about building a brand. Oftentimes it can be as simple as just putting your logo on a product. So once we have done that, I'll just show you another example here. This is another product I sell. So you can find these products in China, anywhere in the world, and I just put my logo right here. So it's usually as simple as just putting the logo on the product itself, and sometimes you might not even need to put the logo on the product. You could just put it on the product packaging if you want to save some extra money. Is there anything you want to add to
Yeah,
that?
you know, and I think the process of what Tatiana just described is actually fairly simple. I know it can be a little bit intimidating if you're brand new to this. I know for me it was as well, especially talking to manufacturers and doing research. There's different, learning how to just like put a product on Amazon, anybody can do that, okay? That's something that you probably don't even need a course for. Maybe you do, just learning how to, the shipment labels and whatnot. Even Amazon has some beginner information to help you with that. The key parts of the process that you really need to learn and you really need to master, and this is where you really need the right guidance for and the right mentorship or course or whatever it might be, is number one, finding a product, okay? Because there's many products you can sell. But when you choose a product to sell on Amazon, the success of that product will depend on many factors. Number one is the demand of the product. How many people are buying that product already on Amazon? What's the potential of it? And that's where you got to do research, and there are software tools available like Jungle Scout that can help you do research to see exactly how much certain products are selling, to learn about the different categories available. And also, there are a set criteria that you do want to follow, especially if you're a beginner. And we can go more into this later if you want, or we have other videos we've shared this with you guys. But everything from doing research on the demand of the product, seeing, making sure you're avoiding a patent, making sure the product is light and doesn't cost too much money to ship it, making sure it's a product that doesn't break, it's not a fragile product, because certain products you're going to encounter issues with, and that will lead to negative reviews on Amazon, and that will make it very challenging for you. The quality of the product is important. How you differentiate and stand out with your product. The numbers have to make sense. You got to know what a good profit margin is and know what all the expenses are, the manufacturing costs, shipping the product, the freight forwarding. There's a variety of things like that. There's, you know, when you're running a business, you got to make sure you can't just think, okay, I'm going to, you know, follow this process, take a product and sell it on Amazon. For me, I had ideas of what I was going to do on Amazon. I actually thought I was going to sell a water bottle. That was my first initial idea. I thought I was going to sell a bottle on
Don't do it.
Amazon.
So
but the benefit of the right training is, as I was going through it, I realized, hey, you know what? No, there's a lot that I didn't know here, that was going to be an uphill battle. Yeah. And there are certain categories on Amazon that are gated. That means that you have to get special approval to sell in. So that's where things get a little bit challenging. And then the more important aspect, because even putting a product on Amazon, it's not that hard, like I said. The real key and the other skill I think you really got to master is marketing. Okay.
Wait, before we get there, I want to go a little bit more into that.
Sure.
So I think those are all very important things to mention. And also when picking your product is, you know, oftentimes when people watch my videos, they say, oh, I have an idea for the perfect product that I want to sell on Amazon. Yeah. And it's something that they have in the house, something that they personally have been using. I'm guilty of this myself. And I'm like, I love this, I benefit from this, I use this every day, people are gonna love it, and I'm gonna love to sell it. And so then you kind of naively go and think that just because you love this product and it works for you, that it's going to be a huge success on Amazon. And so what I've learned is that you really have to do your research and see what the Amazon customers want. Not what the customers at Walmart like, not what the customers at Zellers like. I don't even think Zellers.
Your friends and family, what they think is cool.
Or your mom and dad. Like, you have to look directly on Amazon.
Yeah.
And so you have to learn how to do that research to see, is this product that I have something that customers on Amazon are already purchasing in high volumes? And that's really important, because maybe there's not enough demand. Maybe your product is so niche that not many people are buying it on Amazon, and that's just going to make it really hard for you, because so few people are going to be searching for that product. And so for you to get those sales that we talk about, it's just going to be an upward battle. And so you want to look for that sweet spot where there's like just enough demand that it's going to be, you know, relatively easy to get those sales, because people want this product, they're searching for this product, they're looking to buy this product on Amazon, but not too much demand where there's a ton of competition. And what I mean by competition is other people who are selling on Amazon. And you guys have probably heard of this, where it's like, oh, you know, selling on Amazon is dead, it's too saturated, there's too many people selling on there. And it's just like, That is just not true at all. Amazon continues to grow and expand, and they continue to need third-party sellers. And what you have to realize is that there are some product niches that are saturated, but there are a ton that are not. And so, for example, the water bottle, the reason why I was like, oh, don't do it, is because if you search for water bottle and you know how to do research, you'll see that there's a ton of demand, but it comes with a ton of competition because there are so many people selling the same thing. And whenever you see a lot of people selling the same thing, that's something you should question, because then you have to ask yourself, well, if I'm just going to sell the same thing, how am I going to differentiate myself from everybody else? How am I going to stand out? What do I bring that's new to the table? And so that's one of the most important things that you have to ask yourself when you're deciding on your product, because the people that I've done coaching for that have been extremely successful, they asked themselves that very early on during the product research phase. And they said, how can I offer something more?
Yeah.
How can I improve this product slightly? So even with my waist trainers, for example, I started this brand. It was just a private label product. I found the manufacturer directly in China, and I literally just put my brand name on it and shipped it to Amazon. But as the months went on and I started to make more money, I had a bit more money to invest back into the brand. And so I started to read the reviews from my customers, and I read some of the negative reviews and how people were saying that it's not strong enough. And so then I asked my supplier, hey, can you add some extra steel bones in the product to make it stronger so that we can improve the quality of the product? And so I helped just by making that one small tweak. It cost me like 20 cents per unit. That made a world of a difference. And it made me now a product that had better reviews, which ended up helping me to rank higher compared to the other sellers on Amazon. So I think that those are really important things to mention when it comes to the product research. And as Stefan said, like, there's a lot more to it that. And
when you're a beginner too, there's a certain criteria you do want to follow more. But as you're more experienced or more intermediate or advanced, then you can do things a little bit differently. But that's why, for example, we love ASM, because they have the highest success rate of any course that I've ever seen. And I've been through a lot of courses. We've been through a lot of different trainings, and unfortunately, a lot of them just aren't as up to date, aren't as, yes, they're more expensive than other courses. But at the end of the day, you're making an investment, and what really matters when you make an investment is what's the return you get on your investment. And so they have a path that I think is the best path that I've seen to help beginners get success. But once you have success with the product, you have more experience, that's when you can kind of step outside the criteria. You don't need the training wheels as much, and there's other products and opportunities that arise for you. But the other thing that I was sharing before, that's a really great point, because picking the right product will make or break your success. You pick one challenge that a lot of people face, unfortunately, is they go through the process, they launch a product on Amazon, but they're like, it's not selling, I'm not making any money. And they don't realize that choosing a product and putting it on Amazon is only half the battle. The other half, and if not the more important half, is actually marketing the product, selling the product. And that is something that Amazon helps you do, but you have to learn the skills of marketing, internet marketing. These are really the skills of the future. If you know how to market your product on Amazon, you can be successful in any niche, any product, any category, anything you do. And that means learning social media marketing, learning how to use Facebook groups and pages and advertisements, how to use Instagram ads, or how to create an Instagram page, or how to use blogging and build a blog or a website, and do search engine optimization, or maybe it's creating a YouTube channel and creating content and knowing how to rank that content. Maybe it's running pay-per-click advertising ads. There's so many strategies when it comes to internet marketing. That's the key. That's the key, and that's really what you got to learn, because when you learn those skills, you can sell anything. And I think a lot of people, they just look at it as, okay, I'm just going to put a product up on Amazon, and even if you do all the great research and whatnot, you got to understand that it's your job to now sell it. And you've got to learn you got to build your brand. And that's where I think a lot of, unfortunately, I think teachers, they kind of steer people wrong with, because if you're only looking at just trying to sell just on Amazon, it's really challenging, because the only two ways that you really get traffic to your Amazon listing is either through Amazon search, meaning people go to Amazon as a search engine, they type in a keyword, and if your product shows up on the first page, second page, or big the market is, they find your product, they click on it, and they buy it, okay? The challenge with using Amazon search is that the products that rank are the ones that are getting a lot of sales already. So you're wondering, well, if I'm just launching a product, I'm not getting sales, how do I rank? Well, you have to get sales for Amazon to rank your product, because Amazon is gonna rank products that make money, that make them money, and you know, they don't wanna rank the products that aren't selling, the ones that aren't making the money. So you gotta learn how to drive traffic to your listing, and then when you do, you actually benefit more from Amazon. You rank higher on Amazon. Amazon recommends your product to other products. So that's one way. The other way is running Amazon ads. So you can pay Amazon and you can run advertisements to have your listing show up on Amazon search for certain keywords or recommended next to other products. And for that, you got to know your numbers, and there's skills involved in that too. So I think a lot of people, they just look at, okay, how do I sell on Amazon? How do I put up a product on Amazon? Or maybe even a course will teach them how to do that. But what we really want to do, and hopefully we're trying to steer you in the right direction, is teach you the big picture and really how to build a business. Rather than just selling something on Amazon, I want to help you build a business and something that you could sell one day, which is, by the way, one of the best paths that you can take to really making a lot. That a lot of people, they either build their business, they benefit from the passive income from it, or they build a business and they sell it. And they cash out 6 figures, 7 figures, whatever it might be. So we're trying to give you guys the big picture based on our experience and working with people that, we've seen people succeed and people fail, and we've succeeded and we've failed, and we're just trying to share with you guys the best path towards that. So hopefully that is educational. There's so much we can share on all of that.
That's very important, and I do want to just highlight what you said, because if you're anything like me, guys, you're probably someone who's drawn to this business because you're kind of artistic. For me, I love the idea of creating a product and selling it on Amazon and then having real people buy my product and receive it. It gave me a lot of pride, and I wanted to express my artistic, try and do things. But the thing is with that is that you're just so focused on the product, on creating the product. And although the product is essential, you need to have a very high quality product. And by the way, your goal is to have the highest quality product on Amazon. So if you're trying to save a few pennies by getting a cheaper product by a manufacturer that's cheaper, don't do that. You want to have the highest quality product, because in the long run, although the cost per unit might be a little bit more, in the long run it's going to pay off. You're going to have fewer negative reviews, and it's going to help you to build a real brand with raving fans. So the product, yes, that's the foundation, that's essential. But the most important part is the marketing. Because you could have a good product, a bad product, doesn't matter. If the marketing isn't there, nobody's ever going to discover your product.
Exactly.
And so I think that's what, like Stefan said, people oftentimes fail to mention this as if it's a second thought, as if it's not part of this business, but it's absolutely an integral part of this business. You have to learn how to do marketing. And as someone like myself, when I first discovered that, hey, it's not just creating the product, I now have to learn how to do marketing, I have to learn how to write copy, I have to learn how to do a number of these things. It was a little bit off-putting because I'm more artistic, but you have to learn how to do those things. Yeah. That's really a big part of the business.
For sure.
So just want to be real with you guys, it's not just creating a product, there is another step to it.
Yeah. Well, how about we dive into some questions?
Yeah,
so if you guys have questions, please post them in the chat. We'll do the best we can to answer, and we're going to try to answer the questions I think will cater to the most people as well. And I know there'll be a lot of questions, and unfortunately we're not going to get to all of them, but we'll do the best we can. But just one thing I want to share too, a lot of people, the reality is, if you've never built a business before, if you've never sold on Amazon before, then understand that right now you're in a position where you're lacking experience and you're actually naive. Okay, and anytime, including myself, every time you look at something as an outsider, you're naive to the process. And we often always think that whenever we set a goal, it's going to be easier than we think. We don't anticipate a lot of challenges, and a lot of the things that we're sharing with you, most people, they do not anticipate ahead of time, because when you set a goal, you're just speculating and guessing based on your limited experience. You haven't yet been through the process, but as you go through the process and you have experience, then you look at things in a very different way. And because we've been through many different stages of this process, and we're maybe several steps ahead, we can share with you guys the road ahead. We can share with you guys the things, the path forward, but also the mistakes that people make and what to avoid and what to do right. And that's really what we're trying to do here. So understand that it is going to be a challenging journey ahead, but I just always reiterate the mindset. That if you have the right mindset, where you're committed and you have a vision and you're willing to do what it takes, you'll get there. You'll get there without a doubt. And you've got to believe in yourself. Oftentimes people think, well, I'm not confident, so I can't do it. If you wait till you're confident before you do something, you'll never start anything. What gives me confidence is I know that I'm capable. We're all capable. What we can do is incredible, but most often what people will do is a little bit disappointing, because success is never a matter of ability. It's really a matter of motivation. If you're motivated enough, you develop the skills, you create the habits, you make the changes you got to make in yourself and in your life to get to where you want to be. And so we don't want to discourage you by, sharing that. I think you got to have the right mindset and just be positive, optimistic, have confidence, go into it believing and knowing that you can make this happen for yourself. And it might take longer than other people, it might be faster, I don't know, but you can get there if you want it bad enough.
Yeah, but also what's wrong with a little bit of work? Why are we so scared of working hard? When did working hard become a bad thing?
Yeah.
I'm not afraid of working hard, and I think that's why if you're not afraid to work hard in any industry, you're going to be successful, and that's a big part of it.
It's because most people, unfortunately, they live in a world of instant gratification, and I call it the dabbler mentality, and they're looking to achieve success with the least amount of effort, and that never leads to success. The mindset of hard work, of being willing to sacrifice, the mindset is going to create your success more than anything else, because even if we give you the best strategy, we give you the map, we give you the answers that can change your life, you still got to do it. And the right mindset is what's going to determine whether you do it or not, and persevere and get up when you fall down and we make mistakes and all of that. So we're preaching the mindset of what it takes to be successful, and hopefully you guys, some of you are on board with that. Okay. Questions. Do you want to pick first?
Okay, sure. So I saw a question by someone earlier. I forget what the exact question was, but it was something about, I'm a teenager, can I start this business? And my answer to that is yes, absolutely. I think that the earlier you start an online business, the better. I mean, everyone always wishes that they started earlier. And time is on your side, and that's the benefit about being young. It's not that when you're older you can't start this business, you absolutely can, but the younger you are, you just have an advantage with the time that you have. And so I would say that if you're looking to start this business, there are some things that you need help with. If you have parents or caregivers who can support you, that makes it a lot easier for you. Because if you want to start an Amazon business, you do need to have a valid credit card. You can't open up your Amazon Seller Central account without a credit card, because there is a $39.99 fee that you have to pay Amazon every month as a membership in order to sell using their platform. And so you need to have a credit card so that it can be charged. So if you have parents who are able to support you in this, maybe you have to communicate to them what this is and the possibilities with this, and that you're serious about this, and show them your business plan so that they can take you seriously, so that they'll give you that credit card to use for your business, then that can help a lot. Second thing is, you're going to need to have money to invest in this business. This is not a business that you can start if you're absolutely on your last dime. It's just not the right business for you. And if that's you, we both have videos on our channel where we talk about different options. But building an Amazon FBA business does require a minimum investment. And usually it's really hard to say, to give you a figure, because I've seen people who got started with $1,000. I started with $300 for my first inventory, but that was many, many years ago. Times have changed. I have an interview coming out this month on my channel with someone who started with $1,000, and he's doing really, really well. But I would say a very comfortable place to start is about $2,500. That's the figure that I put on it.
And by the way, Tatiana's got a great video on her channel where she actually did a breakdown of all the costs that you're going to have to pay that are associated to this business. And that's a great video worth watching. Yeah. But a lot of people don't know some of the costs that are involved in it. Yeah. And I think that ends up being a barrier for a lot of people. Yes. And that's why, as Tatiana alluded to, if you're here and you're broke and you have no money and you don't have a job, or you're just barely getting by paycheck to paycheck, you gotta understand this, like starting a business is gonna cost money. It's gonna require an investment of your time, money. You have to order inventory, all of that involved with it. And there's just no way around that. And sometimes people, they don't have money, and listen, I get it. I've been there before too. But in that case, there's other options for you. Like we've shared other online business opportunities, whether it's affiliate marketing, publishing books on Amazon, and we've shared that on our channels as well. So that right there alone is a barrier. And if you're here right now and you're like, I don't have any money and this is gonna save me, no, it's not. No, it's not. In fact, I'd even say that before you really start a business, we have to look at the fact of why you're struggling financially. And I don't want to offend anyone here with that, but I believe that if we're struggling financially, we have to look at ourselves, take some level of responsibility for that, and look at our spending habits, make sure we know how to manage our money that's coming in, get a job if you don't have one, and be able to make money by trading your time for money. Like that's what we all have to do, to get ahead and to make sure that we're financially secure first before we're really ready to start a business. And I do want to emphasize that because I think it's important. I understand we're talking to many different people here, but making sure you have a secure source of income already and you're stable and secure before you start a business, I think is important. Because I'll let you finish your point. I interrupted you, but the reality is when you launch a product and sell it, you're not going to make money overnight. Yeah. It's going to take several months. Okay, and your business is going to suck your time and energy and money, which all businesses do, until it gets to a point where it starts to pay and provide back for you. It's not like a job. A job is where you're giving your time and you get paid in exchange for your time. It's a trade. Business does not work that way. Okay, I don't care how much time you put in your business. Even you could put as much money as you want. You're not guaranteed to get anything back from it. You only get paid based on your results, and your results are selling your product, getting it in front of people, and people determining that it's valuable enough that they're willing to give you money in exchange for that. When you shift your mindset rather than trying to take or try to trade, and you're just delivering value through your product on Amazon, then that's where success follows from that. So it is going to be a process where you're investing time and money, and through that process, you better make sure you've got a job that's supporting you and paying your bills, because your business is not going to pay your bills overnight. It's going to take time, but over time, it will blossom into this incredible beast that can change your life, right? Yes. So you got to look at the long term. It's a long-term thinking mentality to build a business.
I love that. And you guys, me personally, I took 2 years of doing Amazon FBA before I quit my job, my part-time job. And that's because I wanted the income from my job to support my lifestyle so that I can reinvest everything back into the business. And that was my personal choice. You can certainly quit your job sooner if your business is providing for you. It depends on so many different things. But what Stefan said is so important. And I think that, if you are in the position where you're thinking that, this business is the last hope because you're in a very tough financial situation, then, we would caution you, because it is going to require an investment. And we are trying to be honest with you guys, right? It doesn't really help us to share these things with you, and a lot of people don't say that, but we want to be truthful with you that the business is going to require an investment. And so that's why it's really valuable if you have a job, so that you're comfortably living from your income, and you have a savings. Sometimes I see people take all of their life savings and put it into this business, but then what happens if something like this happens with the economy? Like you guys still have a savings bucket. So so just to, I guess, summarize, as a teenager, yes, you absolutely can. If you can have the support from your family, that makes it a lot better. If you are not in the position to invest in this business right now, then what I would just recommend for you is to get a job so that you can start saving money, so that you can later invest it into the online business of your choice. And use this time right now to just learn. There's so much to learn. It's such a beautiful thing.
Okay, let me answer one question here. Someone asked, can Amazon FBA be done part-time? The answer is yes. So the reality is, and this kind of adds to that, most people, they're building their business as a side hustle. Okay, so you don't need to, whatever, obviously the more you put into something, the more you get out of it, right? So if you put in more time, more energy, more effort, you get more out of that. That's how it works. In fact, sometimes people ask me, how long does it take to be successful? How long does it take before I make money? My answer is, how long do you want it to take? right? Because you get to decide. You get to decide if you put more time in, more energy, you can accelerate the process. If you fast track things and accelerate the learning curve through mentors and education and training, you accelerate that and you get there faster. But most people, including myself and Tatiana, we did this on the side. So, you might already have a job, you might already be going to school, and this is something that you got to dedicate your evenings or weekends to. So how much time, it's impossible really to say, but majority of people, they're spending a couple hours a week on the side, working on their business, building it up, going through a training program that's guiding them step by step. Might take you a little bit longer, but that's okay. And then once you're at a certain point where your business is making you enough money to support yourself, then you can quit your job and you can work at it full time.
Great. I'm having a hard time picking a question. There are just so many. Okay, let's do this one. With air freight currently being so expensive from China, could it be a good idea to ship 30 units by air and then the rest by sea? Get some initial sales and reviews before the rest of the product. Yeah, that's definitely an option. I like to ship by sea because it's a fraction of the cost. You can, it usually takes around 30 days to ship by sea, but there are methods that can take 11 days if you're going from China to the US. So it is expedited. But yeah, that could be an option because certainly air shipping is extremely expensive at this time. But remember, that's like this moment because of everything that's happening. And so by the time, like if you have not yet already started your business, by the time you're ready to ship your products to Amazon, perhaps the costs for shipping have changed and have leveled again by then. So yeah, it's definitely a good option. I can tell you that personally for me, I ship everything by sea, but that's because I allow myself, like I have an inventory manager that tells me, like if you order today, you'll have enough inventory for this long. I take into account how long it takes me for the manufacturer to produce the goods and then how long it takes from the manufacturer to ship from China to the US. So it's all accounted for when you are, doing the logistics of it. And I always ship with a freight forwarder. A freight forwarder is very helpful because they basically organize the entire shipment. For someone like myself, it can be very intimidating since there's a lot of documents that you have to get organized and bonds. And if you hire a freight forwarder, it's maybe like $100 to $200 for their service, and they organize the entire shipment, and you have peace of mind. So I do that for sure.
Mm-hmm. Okay, a question from Ishuk. Apologies if we mispronounced your names, but I see you, brother. You posted a few times. You said, I have 8,200 euros. Shall I put most of it in my first product or many products? So I'd recommend starting with one product. Okay, it's hard enough to be successful with one product, yet alone many. And you want to focus on selling one product successfully and building it up. And then once that product is selling, you build a brand around that, and then your second product is a complementary product to that you can now market to the existing customers that bought your first product. And so essentially you're going to build your own store over time. So for example, if you were selling water bottles, you start with one, and then you could have different variations of that. You could think, who is my niche and target audience? Maybe there's some other products related to your existing product that would benefit them, and then you can cross promote your products. But one thing I will say, you have more than enough money to start. You got to start with a minimum order quantity, which all suppliers are going to require. Every supplier is going to be different. Sometimes it might be 1,000 units, sometimes 500 units, sometimes 100 units. You want to start with enough inventory of your first product to make sure that you don't go out of stock. So if your product starts selling, that you don't go out of stock, because if you get momentum on Amazon, your product's selling, getting sales, and it's ranking, the worst thing you want to have happen is you go out of stock, because then you're going to lose all that benefit you got. When your product's out of stock, it's going to drop down ranking on Amazon, and you're going to lose that momentum that you had. So you want to start, I usually recommend 500 to 1,000, but it can depend on your budget if you want to test the market. But have enough inventory. I think 8,200 euros is more than enough. And one thing that you can, I want to help people be mindful of their money too. And sometimes when, I have some people that come to me and say, I got $10,000, $15,000, $20,000. And I'm like, whoa, like, let's allocate this in an intelligent way. Just because you have a lot of money, you can actually overspend and you can be careless with that. So I'm very mindful of that. I think it's important to have a set budget for yourself, even if you have the money, but you want to dedicate some of the money to your first inventory product, your logo and your packaging, as well as some marketing, right? You want to invest in some marketing from Amazon ads and whatnot too. So, how much money is going to depend on your product that you choose and your marketing strategy and plan. But I just want to caution you, I want to make sure you're careful. Don't just throw all your money at this. Be smart and allocate it in an intelligent way. Invest in the training, understand there's certain costs for your product, your inventory, and have some money for marketing too.
Okay. So a question from Sharon. My supplier doesn't put my logo on the product because it is lower than the MOQ, minimum order quantity, and it is the best supplier I can find. Can I work without a logo? Absolutely. In fact, that's exactly what I did when I was first sourcing this product overseas. I literally just took the product as is from the manufacturer because they already had it in stock, right? They're already producing it. It had their packaging. It had this stock logo that said, waist trainers or something like that, or fashion. And I just sold that on Amazon. I had no branding. My branding was not mentioned anywhere in the product packaging. And the reason why that's okay is because this isn't retail. In retail, your product packaging is everything. It's the difference between someone walking by the aisle not even noticing your product, or someone all of a sudden turning, noticing your product, picking it up and inspecting it. Your packaging needs to be awesome. It needs to really, the marketing on it needs to be great. And so yeah, it's very important. But when you're selling online on Amazon, you don't necessarily need to have nice packaging, because that's something that people only see after they purchase your order and it ships to them. With time, you can improve packaging. I think it took me a year before I started to pay more attention to my product packaging, and I started to improve it to improve the customer's experience. But even the product itself, you don't have to put your logo on it. That's fine. You can still sell the product without it. It's ideal if you do. It's better because it just seems more professional. But if you're trying to order the smallest quantity possible and you can't because of the MOQ, then don't worry about it. You can still move forward with the product. But then just, as you gain more revenue and you can place a larger order, you're going to want to have your logo on that product within the next orders.
Yeah. Okay, this is from Daniel. Hey Daniel, thanks for being here. Daniel says, I have the money, I have the knowledge of the process, but don't know if the product is right. How do I know if the product is right? Should I just go for it? Well, that's the $1 million question, right? I mean, nobody has 100% certainty that whatever their product is, whatever their business is, whatever their investment is, there's no 100% guarantee with anything. So there's always a risk that you're taking. We invest in companies and stocks, and we take a risk for that. When you're starting your business, there's a risk involved in that. So there is a level of risk. And I think when you're first starting this, you just want to make sure that you really think about your product and plan and prepare as much as you can. I always say, expect the best, but plan and prepare for the worst. So with the product that you chose, you're not going to 100% know. It's always great to have someone that that has more experience that you can share it with, ask their opinion, their thoughts, but you might not have that luxury. So what I would do is I would really just check the demand of the product, how well the other products are doing. I would really think about how I'm going to differentiate and stand out with this product, and also even anticipate the fact that your product might not sell. And think about what you're gonna do if it's not selling. So for example, if your product's not selling, you can start testing things. So I would start playing around with the price. Maybe you could try a different price. Maybe you can try different product images. And that's something that I often like to test. A lot of people don't do this. You don't know your first product image, if that's gonna convert the best or get the highest click-through rate. And so having multiple product images that you can rotate and test on your listing, and even testing your Amazon listing title, you can play around with that and tweak it, and expect that to play around and optimize things over time to see what you need to do to get it selling. Even have strategies on how you're going to promote and market your product, how you're going to get traffic for it. So with the product you're picking, Daniel, I'd recommend create a bit of a marketing plan. Study your competition, see what they're doing, how they're selling their product. Buy their products. I think it's always smart to buy your competitors' products, because you can learn a lot about what they're doing, compare the quality of their product versus yours. And they've already paved the way. Your competitors, that's why I love competition. A lot of people are afraid of competition. Competition's your friend. Competition, they've already paved the way for you to show you what works and what doesn't work. And you can look up their company and look to see at their website, look at their social media, get on their email list, look to see how they're marketing and selling their product. And you're going to get ideas from them, and they're going to give you the path forward. And you want to model success. You don't want to copy success. You model them. If they're really crushing it on Instagram and they've got some great images and they're doing really well with that, then maybe that's a sign and indicator that that's a strategy that you can also implement. So I will, there's many factors, Daniel, that go involved with it, but I think the best advice I could give you is that your product, your success in this business is going to come down to you, okay? Your product will be successful because of you, not because of Amazon or anything else. You make yourself successful. Tatiana's business is successful because she makes it successful. I'm successful because I make it successful. I market, I promote, I sell, I do whatever it takes to share, to create content, to market, to learn and do everything I possibly can. And when you really take on that responsibility, which by the way, many people don't want to do, because a lot of people, when they're not successful, they look for someone else or something else to blame. They want to blame Amazon, they want to blame the market, they want to blame the course, they want to blame us, they want to blame somebody besides themselves, because it's a lot easier to do that than to point the finger at yourself to say, I didn't work hard enough, I didn't put enough time in, I didn't figure it out, I wasn't resourceful enough, I wasn't committed enough. But resourceful people find the resources, and that's really what it takes. And so I would take on that mentality, Daniel. I think that you can make your product successful as long as there's a market demand for it, but you got to take on the responsibility that I'm going to do whatever it takes to promote and sell this, even if I've got to knock on doors or go to trade shows or whatever it is. When you really study the most successful people throughout history, those are the kind of things that they did, and they're successful as a result of that. I mean, Disney got turned down by, I think, 300 banks. Colonel Sanders in his 60s went door to door trying to sell his chicken recipe in his 60s and made it work and built Kentucky Fried Chicken to what it is today. And so I love studying success and successful people, because they show you that if you're committed enough, you make it happen. And if you've got a great product, you just got to get to work selling it and marketing it and learning those skills. And if you do, I think it will be the right product. So don't base the only responsibility on, this product is not successful. Like, you're the one that makes it successful at the end of the day, and whether you're in the most competitive category there is, you can still make it successful if you have the right mentality behind it.
Yeah, that's why sometimes people ask me, well, Tatiana, why do you openly share about your brand and your products on YouTube? Like, aren't you worried about people stealing your ideas or copying you and stuff? And I'm like, yeah, but people will do that, and that's fine. It's a form of flattery. But it does not mean that they're gonna necessarily see the same success as me, because I know what I offer, and I created this brand with my voice, and I created, it's unique to Lux Curves. It's my brand, and so I think it's important to realize that you are what makes your company successful.
And by the way, that's why someone will buy your product, is based on the brand that you build. Someone asked, for example, if I use Jungle Scout, I think, how do I know other people don't steal my products? And they have this scarcity mentality around that. But you gotta understand, you're not just selling a product. People do not buy products and services. Okay, this is what I'm about to share is one of the most powerful things I can share with you guys. It's worth writing down. People do not buy products and services. They buy feelings and identities. Okay? They do not buy products and services. They buy feelings and identities. And what a brand is a name, and with a logo that people associate feelings and an identity to. So for example, if you were to go to the store, okay, if you were to go to Target, Walmart, any of these stores, and you want to buy a beverage, okay, there's many different beverages. Let's say a cola. There's Coca-Cola, there's Pepsi, and there's many other brand names, some of which they don't have the same brand recognition. What determines what product you're gonna buy is gonna be based on many factors. You might buy Coca-Cola because you associate feelings and emotions to that brand. You think they're the best, and you've watched their advertisements and they make you feel good, and that's what branding is. They've marketed and communicated to you that the brand Coca-Cola, you associate these feelings to it, so you're more likely to buy their brand. Some people, they prefer Pepsi, and they have certain different feelings and emotions associated to that. Other people, they're like, I don't care about that. I want to buy this cola that's the no-name brand. It's the cheapest. So I'm going to buy that one. But the packaging and how you market and present your product is going to associate emotions and feelings to your customer. At the end of the day, that's the most important thing, because that's how your product's going to sell. People don't buy necessarily the best product. You know, why would someone buy a Louis Vuitton bag for $3,000 when they can buy another bag that's $20 that serves the same function? Well, what they're buying with Louis Vuitton is not even a better quality in some cases. The cost to make a Louis Vuitton bag is actually really inexpensive based on the margin and how they sell it for. But you're buying it because of the feelings and the identity that you get by buying designer, by buying Gucci, Louis Vuitton, or whatever it might be. And so that's why when you create your product, you create a brand, you have your own logo, you have your own packaging, and then you associate the emotions and the feelings to that. So when someone buys it, that's what they're getting. It's no different, by the way, when you follow myself or Tatiana. You associate feelings. Maybe with me, you associate motivation or positivity or success or life mastery and certain emotions that you associate to me. And that's why you follow me versus the other guy on YouTube sharing something, maybe the same content, right? Some of the same information. No different if you buy Apple, you associate feelings to the brand Apple than you do for Microsoft or for another brand, right? So understanding this is really key, and that's why you really got to learn marketing. And with Tatiana's product, her waist trainer is really not that different than others. She's improved it over time. But
I can tell you guys a story.
Go for it. Yeah.
So with my waist trainer, the brand really started to grow when I started focusing on how I want people to feel. Not just saying, okay, I'm selling a waist trainer, end of story. I started to think about who is my customer, which is really important. The sooner you guys can decide on who it is that you want to serve, who is the person who's going to be on the other end, who is going to be purchasing your product. That's your customer avatar. That's your ideal client. And so I started focusing more on that, and I started focusing on who is my customer and what do they want? What are their goals? How do they want to feel? And so through that, by discovering those things, asking those questions and coming up with answers, I started to realize how I wanted my brand to be perceived and how I wanted people to feel when they received my product. And so I understood that for some people to spend $60 on something like this, they've saved for months in order to be able to buy this and to receive it. And so when they have it at home, I want them to open the box and I want them to feel like they just treated themselves. I want them to open the box and feel like this is a piece of luxury. This is something that it's a reward that they're giving to themselves. And so I started to brand myself in a premium type of way and more of a luxurious way. I don't have the product packaging with me now, but I have this silk type of tissue paper. The brand Lux Curves stands for luxury curves. I have different words of inspiring words on my packaging, like femininity, confidence, a woman empowering woman, and all of these nice things. And so that really changed the way that customers felt when they started to receive my products. And I also funneled that into my community. And so I created a community on Facebook. We now have over 20,000 women, and people, they talk about things in a certain way. They're called Lux dolls. So everyone who joins is now, you get the title of a Lux doll. And so it's a certain way, it's an identity. And at the end of the day, we are all beings of community. We want to join forces, and we want to feel like we're part of something. And so that really served my brand. And for those of you watching, if you can think about that, kind of hold it in the back of your mind when you're starting this business, and just realize you're not just selling a product. Who are you selling this product to? Who is going to be on the other end of receiving this product? And how can you create an amazing experience for them? And also, speaking of what you were sharing, if you look at some of the best advertisements, it's amazing what you'll discover. The psychology behind these advertisements. The other day, we were watching an advertisement, and it was this guy in this sports car. And he was zipping through the mountains, speeding, and all of a sudden this gorgeous, tall woman comes in his car, and you're like, okay, this is for sure an ad for a car. They're definitely advertising a car. Not one time in the 2 minutes of that entire commercial did they mention anything about a product until the very end. We discovered the entire commercial was for a watch. It was like, wait, I never even saw the watch, the entire commercial. How is that entire commercial for a watch? And it's because they're trying to train you on how to feel. They want you to associate that feeling of being, superior and getting the ladies and having a sports car to this watch. So it's very interesting.
Yeah. And by the way, Tatiana has a bit of an eye infection, which is why her eye waters a little bit.
Sorry, I'm not crying. It's just, I don't know, I woke up with this weird eye.
And by the way, what she said is really powerful, because one of the most, I'll give you guys a huge strategy for marketing any product that you might want to think about with choosing a product you want to sell. One of the most effective marketing strategies that's working right now today in 2020, will continue to work in the future as well, is influencer marketing. Influencer marketing. Some of the biggest brands, they hire influencers, people that already have an audience and a following and people that like, know, and trust them to represent their product. Okay, and they advertise on podcasts, in front of YouTube videos, or on Instagram, bloggers, whatever it might be. And the reason for that is the influencer, like I said, already has a relationship with people. People already enjoy that person, benefit from them. They associate positive emotions to it. And when they endorse their product or share the product, then that's one of the best ways for companies to get in front of people, but also to build up their brand name, right? So for example, Pepsi. Pepsi, one thing that they did back in, I think in the 90s, was they hired Michael Jackson. Now the commercial that they did was Michael Jackson, millions of people associate to Michael Jackson so much pleasure. The way he moves, the way he sings, the way people feel. So the commercial is Michael Jackson. When you watch it, you feel good, you're getting excited, he's putting you in a certain state. And then when you're in the peak of that emotional state, what do they do in a commercial, in an advertisement? They flash the product. You're in a peak state, flash the product. Peak state, flash the product, flash the product. You start to associate that peak state to the product. Okay, that's called advertising, branding, creating an association. And so if you have a product you want to sell on Amazon, how does this apply to you? Well, do research to see who your target market is, okay, who it is that you want to reach, who's buying your product. You can actually do that by just looking at your competitors' reviews to actually learn about your customers in that category, what they're saying about the product, what they like about it. You can do research and identify who is this target market, and then you ask yourself who already has, where are these people already online? Which websites do they go to? Who they follow on Facebook, on Instagram? What YouTube videos are they watching? What podcasts are they listening to? What Facebook groups are they a part of? And then you can advertise and reach those people and partner and collaborate and pay influencers. Some cases you just give an influencer a product for free, and in exchange they'll promote your product. They'll share it with their audience. There's so many strategies that are available like that, but that's why it's really important to build a brand, and it takes time to build up, but understanding marketing and all of what we're sharing with you guys is such a powerful and important thing. So.
Okay, so question from Sheila. Hi Tatiana and Stefan, you guys rock, thank you. I've been wanting to start an Amazon business, but I don't have enough capital. I need to start. Is it less expensive to start on Shopify first? So if you guys are not familiar, Shopify is a platform where you can basically sell using your own website, and Amazon, you sell using Amazon. So you set up your own listing, you have your own account on Amazon, and Amazon owns Amazon, but you get to use it, and so you get to set up your own listing. With Shopify, you get to own your own website. So that's a huge benefit. But here's the thing, and this is, you guys may have heard me saying this before. I sell right now at this time, the majority of my sales are done on my Shopify store. And when I say that, people say, oh, well, why are you talking about the opportunities of selling on Amazon? Why wouldn't we just sell on Shopify? And the reason being is because you want to start on Amazon. If you've never built a brand before, if you're starting from scratch, if you have nothing, you're building from the ground up, then you want to start on Amazon. And I'm sure the majority of you guys are in that position just the way I was. And the reason being is because when you sell on Amazon, you get access to millions and millions of Amazon's customers. And on Amazon, when you create an Amazon listing, you have to understand that Amazon is a search engine. So just like when you go to Google and you type in your question, you know, we all ask Google questions every day, or whatever it is that you want to find or buy or whatever, and you type in something, and then all of a sudden all of these websites pop up, and there's pages and pages of websites, and they're there because you typed in certain keywords. So it's a search engine. And the same thing happens on Amazon. When you go to Amazon, you type in what you want to buy, and then all of these listings will come up because the listings have the same keyword in them as the keyword that you're searching. And so the opportunity here is that if you create a product, you create a great Amazon listing, that you make sure you have really good keywords in your listing, then your goal is to when people search for that keyword, that your listing will show up and that people will click on your listing and then eventually buy your product. Now, with Amazon, the goal is to slowly get to page 1, because most of us were impatient and we don't scroll past page 1, 2, or 3 to buy the products that we want to buy on Amazon. And so your goal is always to get closer and closer to page 1, and you do that by getting more sales, by getting more reviews, by maybe turning on your Amazon PPC for a while. There's a number of different techniques that you can do to rank to page 1. But that's why it's a huge opportunity, because now you get access to potentially millions of customers. And on Shopify, if you were to just start on Shopify, sure, you launch your product on your website, your website is open, but wait a minute, how do people find your website? Yeah. You have to take people directly to your website. You have to tell, hey mom, please go search for this website and buy it there. Like you don't have the way that you can reach people. It's just not the same.
You're losing the platform that Amazon has, but also you're missing out on FBA, fulfillment by Amazon. So you could do fulfillment by merchant, or you have to find a third-party fulfillment center, which is what you'd have to do if you're selling on Shopify. But Amazon, one of the greatest benefits of starting with them is that they already have the platform that you can launch on with the customers and the advertising tools and all of that, but also fulfillment. Yes. So you send your products to Amazon's fulfillment center, and then when someone buys your product, automatically they ship the product from their fulfillment center to the customer. If they have Amazon Prime, even better. People love to buy on Amazon because of Prime. They get faster shipping and whatnot. And
they take care of the customer support for you.
They just make it so much easier for you. So
off.
Amazon, yes, they take their fees, right? So they take a cut out of every sale that you do, and that's why you got to know your numbers and do the research on that. But that's why you start on Amazon. But as you're building your brand and you get your own traffic, then as Tatiana suggested, you build a Shopify store. And that gives you more control, you get better profit margins, you can scale a lot more from that.
So the end goal is not to remain on Amazon. The goal is to start on Amazon, leverage Amazon, use them, take advantage of the opportunity that they're presenting to us. But the end goal is to not have all your eggs in one basket. It's to diversify, and it's to also sell on Shopify.
Yeah. Okay, Mihail Savu says, hi Stefan and Tatiana, I bought your affiliate marketing mastery course. Awesome. A few weeks ago, and I'm very proud of my choice. I want to buy amazing sell machine course. I should wait to be an expert on affiliate and start Amazon business. So great question, Mihail. My affiliate marketing mastery course, the main skill of affiliate marketing is building your brand and getting traffic. Because as an affiliate marketer, if you have traffic, if you have an email list, if you have a following on YouTube, your blog, whatever it is, an affiliate marketer is you're promoting someone else's product, and you earn a commission from that. And that's great because you don't have to create the product, you can just earn a commission promoting another great product. But what you're learning through Amazing Sell Machine is how to create your own product. And so affiliate marketing mastery, if you're a student of that, great. And ASM and selling on Amazon, they fit together. Instead of promoting someone else's product, you can now direct your traffic to your Amazon product and sell your own product. So everything that I teach inside Affiliate Marketing Mastery can be applied to selling anything you want online. You could sell your own book. You could sell your own Amazon product. You could sell your drop shipping product. You can sell your own service, your own course, no matter what it is. Because the skills of getting traffic and marketing are the same and can be applied to either you promote someone else's product or your own if you want to do it. So many people that I've worked with, they actually have done both programs because they complement one another and they help you build your brand and sell your product.
Okay, so question from Betty. I have a question. Do you do your own marketing, or do you pay someone to market for you? So that's a great question, and pretty much anything that you don't want to do, you can pay someone to do it for you. So anything that you feel like, this is not something I like to do, or this is not something I'm skilled at, and you have the resources to hire someone to do that for you, then I'm sure that there's a service available out there. Especially with marketing, there is agencies, there are freelancers, there's so many people you can hire to help you with that if that's not something you want to focus on. I would say that for the majority of people, when you're first getting started, you wear a whole bunch of different hats. When we're all starting, a lot of us, we don't have a ton of money to invest into the business, and so we're trying to do everything ourselves, and I think that's good because I think it's important to have a basic level of understanding of all areas of your business, of the marketing, of product development, so whatever area of your business, you want to have kind of a basic understanding of that and not just straight away outsource or delegate that. But to answer your question, me personally, because with my business, the only type of marketing that I do is social media influencer marketing. I built my brand by creating a whole bunch of content on YouTube. But at this point, if you look at my brand and you look at the YouTube, I have a whole bunch of different influencers who create content for my brand. So I have outsourced this. So I've hired a couple people, and they've reached out to influencers on a regular basis, both on YouTube and on Instagram, and they ask them, hey, are you interested in collaborating with our brand? And if they say yes, then we send them a free product, and then in exchange for content, they get a free product. And so that's how we create content, and the content marketing is enough. Just content alone, I haven't spent money on PPC, I haven't done funnel, there's so many different things in the marketing that I haven't done yet. But just with the content marketing alone, my brand has scaled to $400,000 a month. So that just shows you that you don't have to do everything, because there's a million things that you can do. You just got to decide, okay, what are the one or two things I'm going to focus on when it comes to marketing, and just kind of go all in with that.
Yeah, and as you're making money, then you can hire marketers. You can hire someone that's really good at one strategy. Maybe it's Facebook ads, maybe it's search engine optimization, maybe it's other strategies. Then you can hire them. But you only need one great marketing strategy to get success and make money from that. And then you scale a business not by you doing everything yourself, but by outsourcing and hiring and building a team.
Definitely.
A question I have here is from Nahum. He says, hey, Stefan and Tatiana, how do you choose a country to sell on? Amazon, the US, the UK, Germany. It really depends. You're from Ethiopia, you mentioned. The biggest marketplace is in the United States, Amazon.com. That's where the majority of people are going to start. But there are benefits if you are in the UK, or if you are in Europe, to sell in the European marketplaces. UK is the second biggest, then Germany, and there's France, there's Italy and whatnot. One thing you got to be aware of though is that some of the marketplaces are not yet as established and don't have as much demand. So majority of people, what I'd recommend is either the US, or if you're in Europe, it'd be the UK or Germany. We are both from Canada, and when we started selling in the US, not in Canada. Unfortunately, the Canadian marketplace is just too small and not as much potential on it. It's just better to focus more on where the most potential is, and then you can eventually branch off in those marketplaces. But you also got to be careful in going broad too fast and expanding internationally. I think it's better to really focus on one and optimizing it. But it'd either be based on where you live or where you do your research. And so if you're like in Ethiopia, for example, you're not in Europe, you're not in the United States, then I would do research of products in both marketplaces and determine which one that you feel is a better opportunity for you to start with. And then eventually over time, you could branch off and go more international.
Great. Okay, question. What is an ethical way to get product reviews when you're first getting started? Great question. The most ethical way is to create an outstanding product, is to create a really amazing product where when people receive the product, they're blown away. I used to work at a restaurant, and the motto was this Japanese term called Kaizen, which stands for constant and never-ending improvement. And so our goal was always to just do our best and constantly improve. And it's the same thing when it comes to your product. You want to constantly improve, and you want to do that because you want your customers to be blown away, so much so that they're willing to go out of their way. You know, everyone's got a busy life. They're willing to stop what they're doing, log into their Amazon account, and leave you a review because they're so thrilled with your product. That's what you want them to feel. And I know that's like setting the bar high, but that's your goal. And so when you think of that, like, you really got to shift the mindset. It's not like, how can I get more reviews?
Yeah.
It's like, okay, well, what would entice a customer to willingly, without coercion, leave me a review on Amazon? And it's by creating an incredible customer experience. So number one is having a very high quality product and just creating a great customer experience no matter what it is that you got to do, whether it's with the product itself or maybe it's the follow-up. The follow-up communication with the customer, or maybe you create a community for them, like my Facebook community. It's like a little extra bonus that people get. They get to be part of a community of like-minded people. I would say the second thing that you want to do is you want to ask for a review. You're actually allowed to ask your Amazon customers to leave you a review. It follows Amazon's policies perfectly fine, and it's within their terms, so long as you don't ask them for a 5-star review, or so long as you don't pay them to leave you a review. That violates their terms. So in order to ask them for a review, what you can do is you can set up a follow-up service, and anyone who's selling on Amazon should do this for sure. Because when you sell a product on Amazon, Amazon will email your customers. They're going to email them the receipt, they're going to email them the tracking, and then they actually usually do email them a follow-up saying, hey, did you love this product? Leave us a review. But in addition to that, you can sign up for a service that links with your Amazon Seller Central account, and you set it up so that you create messages, emails that get automatically sent to your customer. So for me, what I had set up is when a customer ordered from me, within like 3 days, I would follow up and say, hey, just checking on you, just wanted to make sure that you received the product, and if it got damaged in transit, or if you have any concerns, hey, I'm here, I'm available, please reach out to me. I'm happy to help you out to the best of my ability. And then I'd follow up again and say, hey, just want to know, like, how are you enjoying the product? Hope that, if you have any questions, please reach out. And then I'd follow up one last time and say, hey, if you enjoyed this product, it would mean the world to me if you would leave us a review. We're a small business and trying to make it a small company of women. And, I know you're busy and I know it takes some time out of your day, but if you could spare an extra 2 minutes to leave us an honest review on Amazon, it would really mean a lot to us. And that's a great way to just get those organic reviews. So that's, those are the obvious ones. But there are other things that you can do as well. And that includes like just setting up a Facebook Messenger list and, doing a sale for your product. And there are different strategies that different people will talk about. It depends who you follow. But, even just one of the things that we talk about is before you launch your product, you want to set up a little bit of a following. Maybe get like 200 to 300 people who can follow you, get them on your mailing list, maybe have them follow you on Instagram. And then when your product launches, you have 200 to 300 people that would be interested in buying your product. And so you notify them about this, and then they will go and buy your product as soon as you launch. And then the goal is that you follow up with them and ask them for that review. And the majority of people will leave you a review.
Yeah, I was gonna add to that, but I mean that's
there's so much.
But there's a lot of cool strategies. I know ESM's teaching Facebook Messenger bots, so the follow up through Facebook Messenger bots, which I'm sure you've seen on Facebook already.
Those are great.
But there's so many strategies with that. Understand that reviews are the byproduct of sales. So a lot of people, they focus on reviews. Really, your focus and the question you ask is, how do I add more value? And I mean, that's what she was alluding to, improving your product, making it better. If you make your focus on how to give more, how to add more value, how to make your product better, how to over deliver, and even create content in a relationship, and when people buy your product, you give them the ability to follow you on social media, on Instagram, on Facebook, to join your Facebook group community, to opt into your email list, or to get on your Facebook Facebook Messenger follow-up series, which you, by the way, you want to have that on your packaging when they receive the product. then people, when they enjoy the product, they receive benefit, they're gonna wanna follow you, and then they reach out to you, they ask you questions, and that's really where you ask them and you follow up and you build a relationship with people. So I find, one of the most important things I could share with you guys is understand that your income, how much money you make, is in direct proportion to your level of contribution. Okay? The only way you ever make money is through contribution. You're only getting paid in exchange for the value that you're providing. Someone gives you money, which money is a form of value, in exchange for value in return. You're giving them a product, a service that can help solve their problem, help make their life easier, better, faster, more fun, whatever it might be. Your job as an entrepreneur is to solve people's problems at a profit, is to figure out, okay, how can I over deliver? How can I give someone more than what they paid for? How can I create a raving fan? Someone that's not just a customer that comes and goes, but a raving fan customer. Someone that will buy from me again and again. Someone that will share my brand and talk about it and recommend it to their friends. When you make that your focus, which should always be the focus in your business, over deliver, add more value. That's why, by the way, even on our YouTube channels, we're just trying to add value, add value, add value. We don't need to worry about sales. Sales follow, because when you build such a great relationship and a raving fan audience and following, then people are going to share nice things about us. People are going to buy whatever product or service that we recommend or create. And that's the main focus of where my mentality would be. So the more you contribute, the more money you make. Okay, so focus on adding more value, contributing more, the money is going to follow that.
Yeah. I want to highlight that if you are doing product research, just a little bonus thing to be thinking about when you're looking for products, ask yourself, does this product solve a problem? Because if you can find a product that solves a problem, the likelihood of success will probably be greater. Because as Stefan said, people will exchange value to solve their problems. People buy these waist trainers because it helps solve a problem of having excess belly fat or just wanting to feel more confident in their skin. So by selling this product, I'm solving a problem. So the goal is, if you want to make money, you say, okay, what's a problem? If you're a massage therapist, for example, okay, someone has back pain, that's a problem. What I'm going to do is I'm going to exchange my service, 1 hour of my time for $100. I'm gonna solve their problem by giving them a massage. Okay, you spent 1 hour, you made $100. Now, if you wanna make more money, you have to solve more problems. So the option is either that you're gonna do more massages, but how many massages can you do in a day? 8, 10, 12, I don't know. Like, how much do you wanna exhaust yourself? And so you can solve more problems yourself, or you can learn how to systematize it, and you can hire people to solve those problems for you. So at the end of the day, the more problems that you solve, the more you're going to get paid. And so it's kind of interesting to kind of think of it from that perspective when you are doing your product research. It does add to kind of the criteria for finding a product. It's not necessary, but if you do happen to land on a product that does solve a problem, no matter how great it is, it doesn't have to be a huge problem, it can be a very simple problem, then that can be really beneficial.
Yeah, and just, you can go deeper with that. I mean, the money you make right now, the job that you have right now, if you have a job or if you have your business, you're getting paid based on the value that you're providing to your employer. Okay, your employer, the company that you work for, they hired you, and they're willing to give you a salary or pay you by the hour in exchange for value that you're providing for them. Now, how much you're getting paid is in proportion to the value that you're providing based on the marketplace. So if you work at McDonald's, you get paid minimum wage, or you're getting paid that amount of money because the value that you're providing doesn't require a high level of expertise or skill. The value is not, if you can find ways to be a manager to help the company make more money, to make your employer's job easier or better, or handle the accounting of the business and help improve that, or drive more sales to the company in the sales department. If you want to make more money right now in general with your existing job, your focus should be not what am I getting from my employer, but how can I add more value? How can I improve myself? How can I become more valuable? What books can I read? What courses can I take? What skills can I develop? How can I over deliver to my employer? You don't wait until your employer pays you more and gives you a promotion and then you start adding more value. No, you start adding more value now. You start working more, working overtime, demonstrating and showing your employer how committed you are, and provide the evidence that justifies why they should give you a promotion and pay you more money. And if you take on that mentality in your life, the sky's the limit. You'll make as much money as you ever want in your life. But to be an entrepreneur, it requires a different level of thinking. And what I'd encourage you, if you have a job right now, take on this thinking right now in your job. Don't look at your job as a place that you just go to get. Look at it as a place that you go to give. And every day, show up on time, show up early, over deliver. Don't just look at the clock and say, I'm gonna get paid this, I'm gonna put in this number of hours and do the bare minimum to get paid. If you make your focus instead, how can I give more? How can I make my boss's job easier? How can I drive more sales? How can I be the best janitor, or how can I be the best accountant or the best engineer, whatever it is, then you will naturally make more money as a result of that and get a higher level position in the company and get rewarded for that. That's the same mentality you got to take to your business, to your job, and everything. So going back to what I said, your income is in direct proportion to your level of contribution. You want to make more, contribute more to society, to the world, to your employer, and money will follow you.
Okay. If you're using Jungle Scout keyword Scout, can you skip using an automatic PPC campaign and go straight to using a manual campaign with the keywords that Jungle Scout generates? Yes, you can. So Jungle Scout is a really, really great tool. Not only does it help you with product research, it helps you with keyword research, it helps you with listing optimization. It's a suite of tools, and I've done videos about Jungle Scout on my channel before. Actually, I did one recently about the listing optimization. So yes, if you have Jungle Scout, you can skip the automatic campaign if you choose and just use those keywords that you found through your research using Jungle Scout and create a manual campaign. Usually manual campaigns will convert better for you. However, automatic campaigns can still be useful, because if you just turn on an automatic campaign, it kind of just tells you, it shows you what Amazon is suggesting, and that can be useful information to go off of. So if you already have an automatic campaign running, what I would do is I would see what those highest converting keywords are, and then I would insert those into Jungle Scout, do more research with those, and then set up a manual campaign with those best keywords. Hopefully that makes sense.
Okay, a question from Cameron Jenkins. What is the process to legitimize your business before you start selling on Amazon? Should I start an LLC, which is a limited liability company? That's something that's available for those that live in the United States. If you live in Canada, there's corporations, or if you live in Europe, there's different corporate entities that you can create. Or a sole proprietor. Do you use third-party filers? How easy is it to do this yourself? So having an LLC or a corporation does not legitimize your business really, because you don't really need one to start selling. You can start selling as a sole proprietor, which means that if you set up your Seller Central account, or whatever it might be, you would set it up in Amazon where Amazon's going to send payments to your name, your address, your personal bank account, and that's how the majority of people start a business, just as a sole proprietor. Having an LLC or a corporation, a C Corp, S Corp, whatever it might be, doesn't really legitimize your business. The reason why you set that up is for liability protection. And so if somebody were to sue you, a corporation or an LLC is something that protects you, so they can't go after your personal assets. They can only go after the assets that are contained within the corporate entity that you have. Based on where you live, there can also be some tax advantages as well for doing that. For myself and Tatiana, we just started as a sole proprietor. That's what most people do, because really there are costs involved in setting up an LLC. You're gonna have to hire maybe a lawyer or an accountant, someone that can help you with that. And when you're first starting your business, you want to keep your costs low, and you want to put that money into your product and get sales first. And really, you don't have any liability risk when you don't have any customers, when you don't have any sales. There's nobody to sue you, right? There's nothing really bad that can really happen from that. So usually, for most people, they just start as a sole proprietor. You're trying to sell your product, get it up and running. As you're getting sales, now you've proven and validated your product works. Now you have confidence. Now you're getting momentum. Now you can justify spending the cost to hire a lawyer, hire an accountant, get the appropriate advice, and set up your legal entity. That's what I did. It might be different for you. It can vary based on your preference or threshold for risk. Some people, I understand, they're very, they really want to be on top of all those things from the start. I get that. You might already have a lot of assets that you want to protect, that you don't want to take that risk. Maybe you already have real estate, stock investments, whatever it is, and maybe you already have a high income and there's tax advantages of already setting up an account. There's many factors involved with that. So really the advice you need to take is going to be personalized based on your situation. And that's where, unfortunately, I'm limited in helping you because I don't know your personal situation. You're going to have to work with an accountant that can help you with that. But I'll just share with you what I did, and Tatiana and most people, we just started as a sole proprietor, and then as we're getting sales, then we invested the money to get all that set up.
Okay, I'm just going to power through just a bunch of questions, just like straight answer, not long.
Okay.
Okay, so Tatiana, how do you get your Amazon customers to go to your Shopify store? Do you put it in the packaging? No, I don't do that. What I did is I waited until I had a consistent, I built up an email list. So I was making maybe like $30,000 a month on Amazon, and I had built up an email list, a mailing list, a bit of a social media following, and I marketed to them. I emailed them saying, hey, just opened up a website and we're selling on our website. We have a special promo going on now. Shop there if you'd like to discount on your next purchase. And so people started to kind of move over there. And then in future marketing, I would just direct people to Shopify rather than to Amazon. Is Amazon open to new sellers right now? Yes. Okay. Does Alibaba Trade Assurance accept credit cards for payments of shipments? Yes, they do. There is a fee. You can also link your bank account. If you have a US bank account, you can link it. That's how I usually pay for my orders. And it costs $20. And so it's the same as like a wire transfer. And you can use Alibaba Trade Assurance, which is a type of insurance, which is really, I strongly recommend it. Okay, do you have anything you want to power through?
Yeah, and I get this often is, what advice would you give to yourself if you're 18 years old again? I mean, all the advice that we're giving you here, I mean, everything that you watch on our YouTube channels is all advice that we wish that we had when we were 18 years old. So consume our YouTube videos, consume everything we put out for free, everything that we put out for you guys for free. Hopefully you guys understand, we don't hold back. We're just trying to give. Anytime we learn something benefits us, we're excited to share it with you guys, and we're so appreciative and thankful for you guys for giving us the platform and the audience where we can share what we learn with you. And so hopefully what we share with you are things that can help you avoid pain and suffering and mistakes and challenges, and set you on the path towards success and freedom and abundance in your life. But the one specific thing I'd say to myself and anybody, regardless of your age, if you're 18 or 60 years old, is invest in yourself. Invest in yourself, because you are your ultimate resource in life. And the more that you learn, the more that you earn. The more that you grow and learn and study and master every part of yourself in your life, the more that you'll benefit later in the future. Because my life today and Tatiana's life today, we're living the life today that we enjoy because of decisions that we made a year ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, and we're benefiting from that. And right now, when you're 18 years old or you're 60 years old, you get to decide what you want your life to be 5 years from now, 10 years from now. The decisions you make right now today, the decision to pick up a book and read and feed your mind, the decision to start a morning ritual and eat healthier every day, or to go to the gym and exercise, or to watch inspiring documentaries and things that open up your mind, and to watch YouTube videos, and to invest in courses and training programs, and to start your business and learning marketing, and all of these things that you do to learn about relationship, all of these topics, the more that you learn about it now, then the more you're going to benefit later down the road. So your investment, which knowledge and information is an investment that will pay you dividends in your future. And I started my self-development journey when I was 17 years old. And by the way, the younger you are, the better, the more you benefit. Not that you don't benefit when you're older, but when you're young, you're like an open book. When you're young, you don't have as much, I hate to say it, baggage than you do, and fixed beliefs and an identity that's already been formed over many years and decades that makes it harder for you to shift. For me, when I was 17, and Tatiana, when you're young as well, I was just open to everything. I was naive. And in many ways, being naive was a great advantage for us. I never was skeptical. I never was doubtful and I didn't really have a lot of fear in a lot of these things that I think a lot of people have. I just when I discovered self-development, my mentors were Tony Robbins and Brian Tracy and Jim Rohn and Zig Ziglar. And then I learned, about my marketing mentors. Whatever they said, I was like, really? Wow, you can do that? You can be okay. And I just did what they said. I was just like, okay, I'm just gonna trust the process and do what they say. And it's very similar to, if you ever watched the movie The Karate Kid, right? Where Daniel's son goes to Mr. Miyagi and he has his own ego and his belief on how things should be. And he has to humble himself, and Mr. Miyagi says, I want you to paint the fence. And he's like, well, why would I paint the fence? That doesn't make, I want to learn karate. And he says, paint the fence. You're the student, I'm the teacher. So he trusts the teacher and he paints the fence. And then he says, I want you to sand the floor. So he's like, okay, I sand the floor. Then I want you to wax the car. And he understands over time there's a method to the madness. And he benefited from that in trusting in your mentor. So, honestly, success is fairly simple. It's not easy. The hard part of success is getting out of your own way. And to not allow your self-imposed limitations, your fears, your doubts, I can't do that, or I'm too young, I'm too old, I don't have the money, I don't have the time, or it's because I'm under this circumstance or that circumstance, or whatever your story is. The only thing that keeps you from what you want in your life, and pay close attention to this, the only thing that stops you is the story that you keep telling yourself about why you can't have it. Your story is the way to avoid taking responsibility and use it as an excuse. The reason why my life's not where it is because of this, or this happened to me, or whatever it is. And when you can divorce that and understand, regardless of my past, I can create my future, because right now I'm a new, better version of myself than I was before, and I can make new choices and new decisions that create whatever kind of life that I want. And so I think when you're young, at least for me, I didn't let failure, pain, disappointment, all of those things stop me. And I think, unfortunately, as people get older and they get beat up in life, and they have their ambitions and they set their goals and they're very optimistic and positive about it, and they get beat up because things never work out the way we expect. I mean, that's just called life. I don't know anybody that everything works out the way you want it to work out. Things happen, disappointment happens. When that happens, you have the choice of either you're going to create pain and a story and a limiting belief that says that you're trying to protect yourself now from feeling that pain in the future. So now you start to become skeptical. You open your heart to a man or woman and they break your heart, and they're your crush, and now you create a story. You say, oh, I cannot open myself up, or I don't want to get too close to someone because then I'm going to get hurt, or I don't want to get my hopes up in the next relationship, or men are only going to hurt you, or women are this way. And we create all these limiting beliefs that just protect us from pain. And people that are skeptical and people that are negative and criticize and judge, they're really just fearful. They've been beat up so many times, they've been disappointed so many times, and so they're afraid to get their hopes up. They're afraid to get excited again. They're afraid to believe that it can work for them and that their life can change and be better. Because in the past, last time they did, they got hurt. And now it's much easier to say, oh, that doesn't work, or that's a scam, or that's bullshit, or they're just trying to make money, or whatever it is, and it's just a way to protect themselves. And the problem with that is that you live in your comfort zone in this bubble of limitation that doesn't create the life you want. And we've both been hurt many times. We've both been disappointed. We both failed. We both lost money. We've been through all of that. But the difference between success and failure is not whether or not you fail. Everybody fails. It's how you respond to it. And you have a choice when you do fail, when you do get hurt, when you do get disappointed. You can instead choose, you know what? I'm going to learn from that. This is a blessing. I'm going to see what I can learn and benefit and make sure that I am better as a result of that. And understand that that's part of the process, and the process is the most important thing, because it's not what you get, it's who you become. And as you become and grow through your journey in life, success and abundance and everything follows you, because when you make those changes in yourself, everything will change for you in your life. And so, that's probably one of the most invaluable things when you're young or even when you're old. Have an open mind, okay? Open yourself to possibilities, and don't judge things unless you've done it or tried it. And just don't give up. Don't give up. It's a shame when you see people give up, and there's so much potential that everybody has. We all have unlimited potential, but most people don't tap into it because of their fear and their baggage that they carry around from their past, and they just keep bringing their past into their future. One of the most important things we both learned from Tony Robbins is that the past does not equal the future. Just because you failed a year ago, yesterday, 5 years ago, it doesn't matter. Right now is a brand new moment, and make a new choice that can create the life that you want, and you will fail. I mean, that's just the reality. One of my favorite quotes is that success is going from failure to failure to failure to failure without losing enthusiasm along the way. If you can do that, you're going to become incredibly successful. So that'd be my advice when you're young.
Yeah, I love it. Amazing. Take notes. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing that hurts the most is just seeing how we limit ourselves in life so much by fears.
Yeah.
We're so scared of so many things, including fear of success.
For sure.
We're scared of failure, but we're also scared of succeeding. What does that mean? How does that change my life? How will my family and friends perceive me? And so I think sometimes, an exercise that works for me, and maybe it can be helpful for some of you, is, when you're feeling fearful and you see that there's an opportunity, there's something there that can benefit you and it's good for you, but you're scared of going after it. Maybe it's, becoming an entrepreneur or starting your own online business. If you feel like that fear is preventing you from moving forward towards going after something that can benefit you in your life, then I think one great exercise to do is to just, first of all, to articulate it. Sometimes we're scared, but we don't know what that fear is. We don't know what it means. We don't know what it is that we're scared of. And so to take the fear from outside of your head, because when it stays in our head, it's just very ambiguous. Take it out of the head and write it down on a piece of paper, and bless yourself with an hour to just be at peace, sit somewhere where you're not going to be disturbed, and just journal and start writing out some of the things that you're scared of. Give yourself permission to just write down whatever comes to mind. There's no right, there's no wrong. What are you really afraid of? And so then by writing it on a piece of paper, you can now articulate it, vocalize it even, and that helps to kind of take fear out of just being something in your mind and see it for what it really is, because oftentimes it's not as great as we make it out to be when it's stuck in our mind. And then the next thing you can do is you can kind of draw a line down the paper, and on one side you can write down the possibilities. So if you do move forward with building your online business or with whatever goal it is that you're scared to pursue, what are the possibilities? With best case scenario, what could happen? What could happen if you are to see the success that you want to see? How would that change your life? How would that change your family's life, your friends? What kind of experiences would you create? How much money would you have, and what could that afford you in life? Because we're not going to lie, money solves problems. That's why we want to make more money. We live in a life where money has value, and when you have money, you can solve problems a lot easier. Money's not everything, and we always say don't deceive yourself into thinking that money's going to make you happy or fulfilled. It's absolutely not. But money does solve problems. So write down in that column what the possibilities are, and then on the right side, you can write down, okay, what is the worst case scenario? So say I do fail at this. Say I try and start this Amazon FBA business and I do fail. Say, I launch a product and I picked a bad product and it did not do well on Amazon. What is the worst case scenario? And then when you write that down, you really got to think about, worst case scenario is I find a product, it doesn't sell well on Amazon. Well, maybe I could sell off the inventory at cost, meaning I don't make a profit on it, but I don't lose money on it either. And oftentimes it's very easy to do because you're going to be selling much lower than all of your competitors. Okay, well, was that so bad? Because at the end of the day, I gained all of this experience, which now I can go again. And as Stefan said, you try again and again and again. And so when you have these two sides of the paper, you can really see what it is that this fear is. And all of a sudden you realize that it's not that big of a deal. And so that's an exercise that I like to do when fear is paralyzing me, and it helps me to realize that it's really just in my head and that I have nothing to really be afraid of.
Yeah, fear is just anticipation of pain, right? So you're anticipating pain in your future, but you're often worrying about something that never even comes to fruition. I mean, how many things do we worry about in life that never even came to fruition? One thing that Michael Jordan, I think, said in the documentary he did called The Last Dance is that, why would I worry about missing a shot that I haven't taken yet? Because people ask him, how do you have that confidence to take a shot when the buzzer is counting down and the game is on the line? He's like, well, why would I worry about a shot that I haven't even taken it yet? And a lot of people, that's what they're doing. They're worrying about something that hasn't even happened yet. And I believe that the only failure is not trying. And just to add to that exercise that Tatiana created for you guys, one thing that helps me is I have realized that I can either be afraid of taking action and building a business, shining my light in the world, being an influencer, putting myself out there, making changes. I can be afraid of that, okay? And yeah, that can be scary, I get it, because it's the unknown, there's uncertainty, you've never done it before. It's easier and safe to stay in your comfort zone, also known as your danger zone, right? Because you don't grow from it. Or what's more scary is that's scary, stepping into the unknown. But what you should really be more afraid of is what your life would be like if you don't pursue that. What would your life be like if you don't change, if you continue to live your life the way you are? And when I really realized that, man, it was a no-brainer to move forward. Because I started to realize that if I don't take action in my life, then I'm going to continue living the way that I was living. And at the time in my life, I was financially broke. I was in credit card debt. I was living in a little apartment that I hated. I was alone. I was unhappy with myself. I didn't have freedom to do what I wanted. And I thought to myself, do I want to live the next 5 years, 10 years of my life the way that I am now? And that terrified me. The idea of that was so painful that my pain fueled me forward. And I created essentially a greater fear than whatever my fear was. My fear of taking action, I created even a greater fear that just overcame that and just propelled me forward. And they say to be successful, you need a strong enough why. You need a purpose for it. And if you have a strong enough why, if you want it bad enough, and that's great enough, and it can be the fear of not moving forward, that can propel you to get to where you want to go. So.
Yeah. And the reason why is because humans are driven by pain and pleasure. Yeah. When you dig into the psychology of it, the reason why we do most of anything is either because we want to avoid pain or we want to gain pleasure. And so most people will do more to avoid pain than they will to gain pleasure. So figuring out what that is for you could be really helpful, because then you know what you can do to help motivate yourself. Because if you know that you're driven more by gaining pleasure or more by avoiding pain, then you can do what Stefan did, and like imagining how painful life would be if life stayed the same or if life got worse. Amplifying those emotions, because that can fuel you. So you kind of can tap into the psychology of it all.
And we're just as afraid as you guys. We really are. But what we're afraid of is like for example, one of the reasons why we work so hard is we're afraid of being broke. Like we were once broke, we were once in debt. I'm terrified of ever going back and being in that position. The reason why we work so hard on the relationship and to improve, to read books, to study, we take courses on relationships, and we're always trying to grow and improve it. We're reading a great book right now called Cupid's Poison Arrow. Highly recommend it for anyone in a relationship. But we do that because we're terrified of ever having a divorce or ever, being in a position where, we can't stand each other, or we have kids one day and, we have a destructive household of negativity and anger and fighting, because we both grew up in that environment and we're terrified of that. So that fear motivates us to make sure that we're proactive, that we're learning about relationships. We're always trying to grow and improve. I'm terrified of ever getting cancer or heart disease or some of these diseases, even coronavirus. So I'm going to work on my body. I'm going to train. I'm going to work on my immune system. I'm going to take my supplements. I'm going to learn about health. I'm going to do the 15-day juice fast and get the testing and work with the naturopathic doctors and do all I can so that I don't have to face something later down the road in my life, maybe 20, 30, 40 years from now, and deal with obesity or cancer or all of that. You can create your future today. Yes, there's things that happen outside of control, genetic factors, whatever, but there's a lot that we can do. And let's exhaust as much as we can what we can do to be proactive and use our fear as our friend and align with our fear to motivate us and move us forward to creating the life we want.
Absolutely.
So I'm not sure if we should wrap up on this, because there's many more questions. I don't think we're going to get to them all, but we want to thank you guys so much for your time. Like, we really appreciate it. We've gone here for 2 hours, and you guys are awesome. We thank you just for your patience, and we weren't able to get to everybody, but I think we covered a lot, and hopefully everything we shared has been beneficial to you guys.
And a lot of the questions that we kind of missed or intentionally skipped over are because we answer them in our YouTube videos.
Right.
So I saw a lot of very common questions that are answered in many, many YouTube videos. So if you still have questions, go to our YouTube channels, and there's a search box, and on the search box, type in your keyword, and you will likely find the answer to your question there.
There's a lot of great content for you guys, so hopefully you guys are consuming that. We're going to do another live though next week, so we'll set it up on our channel, and we don't know the date or time yet, but we'll do another live soon and answer more questions for you guys. But one thing we do want to remind you guys of is to make sure you register for the upcoming free training from Amazing, the mentors that we have that we shared at the beginning of this. And by the way, this recording will be available for you guys afterwards, so hopefully if you joined in late, some of the questions you asked we already answered, and you guys can watch it again as much as you like. But the upcoming training on June 11th and June 12th. So the way that we learn to sell on Amazon through our mentors, we're sharing that with you guys. So if you want to learn the same path that we took, which we think is one of the best paths out there. We've gone through many different courses.
It's the path of least resistance, right? Like you can build an Amazon business on your own and Google search things and find things on YouTube, and you can struggle to find all the pieces of information, or you can find something that's complete and everything put together. And a lot of people, they would prefer that option. So if you're someone who wants a package to learn from people who have paved the way, so that you don't have to struggle to find accurate information, then this would be our recommendation.
Yeah, so we're trying to share with you guys what we did. People always ask us, how did we start? How do you get started? What do I do? We always recommend a course. I've done the path of trying to figure things out and banging my head against the wall and getting frustrated and losing money in a lot of cases because you don't know what you're doing. And often when you're naive to the process and you've never been through it, you don't realize really what's involved. And when you go down the other path and you're just like, oh wow, this is so much easier and smoother. It's not as bumpy, and I'm not getting lost, and it's a lot easier. It's not a guarantee, of course. But we want to provide you guys with what we believe to be the best path. And so they've got a training coming up. We're excited. They're launching ASM 12, which we're really excited for. If you're already an ASM customer or member, you get free access to their course. They always update it every year and make it better and better. And it's by far the best that we've ever seen in terms of creating success.
And by the way, guys, we started our Amazon businesses with ASM 4.
Yeah.
So this is ASM 12.
There's nothing like it. There's nothing, with what they provide that gets results. And so we're excited to share that with you guys. The link is in the description. So if you click there, you can register for it. They have multiple dates and times. So
you can't register for the course. It's not available yet.
Yes.
But you can register for the free training.
The training they have, and they're sharing a lot of awesome value on the training. So for us, they're our mentors. We learn from them. Like you're here learning from us, and there's a lot we can share with you, but we learn from our mentors, and we want to share them with you. And so if you enjoy us, you'll enjoy their training, so what they provide as well. And so they're launching the new course. We're excited for it. They actually are, if you register for the training, you put in your name and email, they've got a free bonus training that they're putting out today. So we have yet to watch it, but we're looking forward to that. And we're always trying to learn ourselves as students, and there's a lot of new things, new strategies right now too that's working on Amazon that they're going to share too.
Yeah, in fact, right now there's like a little bit of a loophole in Amazon, and so they're going to be sharing what that loophole is and how you can take advantage of it.
You want to take advantage of loopholes before they close too. So
they will close.
Yeah. So register for it. We'll do another live next week, I think, maybe on Tuesday. And so we'll schedule it in advance for you guys. Mark your calendar, get your questions ready. We'll do the best we can to answer them. We'll try not to answer some of the same stuff we did here, because we're going to assume that a lot of people already watched this. We covered a lot of stuff here. I want to move on to some other questions and other topics that you guys have for us that we haven't already covered. So there's a lot to cover, but we'll do it again, and we hope to see you there.
Yes, thanks for watching, guys. It's been really fun.
Thank you, guys, and we'll talk to you again soon. God bless you. Bye.